I spent over 40 hours reading ingredient labels at 3 different grocery store chains last month, picked up hundreds of products, turned every single one of them around, and read what was actually inside. And what I found didn't just surprise me. It genuinely changed the way I shop. Because 5 of the most common healthy foods that people grab every single week, they're not what you think, not even close. Some of them have more sugar than a candy bar. Others have ingredient lists that read like a chemistry textbook. And the worst part is, the packaging is specifically designed to make sure you never notice. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which 5 foods to stop trusting, what to buy instead, and how to read a label in 10 seconds flat so you never get fooled again. And food number 5, the one almost everyone eats daily, that one's going to change how you shop forever. Let's get into it. And I want to start with something that's probably in your fridge right now. Flavored yogurt. Strawberry, blueberry, vanilla. Doesn't matter the flavor. Walk into any grocery store, and the yogurt section is a wall of health claims. Excellent source of protein. Contains live active cultures. Made with real fruit. Sounds great, right? Here's the problem. I pulled a popular strawberry yogurt off the shelf, one of the top-selling brands in the country, and looked at the sugar content. 33 grams of sugar in a single serving cup. For context, a regular-sized Snickers bar has 27 grams. So this little yogurt cup that you're eating for breakfast, the one with the picture of fresh strawberries on the front, has more sugar than a candy bar. And that made with real fruit claim? When you flip the container around and actually read the ingredients, fruit shows up 4th or 5th on the list, well after sugar, modified cornstarch, and a handful of additives. The fruit is practically a footnote. So what do? You don't have to give up yogurt. Not at all. Plain Greek yogurt is one of the best foods you can stock up on. High protein, low sugar, incredibly versatile. Buy the plain version and add your own berries at home. A container of fresh blueberries costs about $3 and lasts all week. You control the sweetness, you control the quality, and per serving, it's often cheaper than those little flavored cups once you do the math. Now the second food on this list might be the most controversial one, because people get defensive about it. Granola. Specifically, store-bought granola and granola bars. The entire brand image of granola is built around nature, hiking, whole grains, and clean eating. The packaging has mountains on it, trees, sometimes a sunrise. It screams health. But here's what's actually inside most commercial granola. Sugar, canola oil, or palm oil, and more sugar under different names. I checked the label on one of the best-selling granola brands and found 5 separate sweeteners in a single product. Brown sugar, honey, corn syrup, molasses, and cane sugar. 5 in what's supposed to be healthy food. And granola bars? Even worse in many cases. Some of the most popular bars marketed toward kids and active adults have the same nutritional profile as a cookie. The calorie density is high, the fiber content is low, and the ingredients that should matter, oats, nuts, seeds, they get buried under everything else. If you love granola, make it at home. It takes 20 minutes. Rolled oats, a handful of nuts, a tablespoon of honey, and some coconut oil. Bake it on a sheet pan. You'll make a batch that lasts 2 weeks, and you'll actually know what's in it. The homemade version costs roughly half the price per serving, and it's not loaded with 6 types of sweetener. Food number 3 is one I have personal experience with, and honestly, I'm a little embarrassed about how long it took me to figure this out. Pre-made smoothies and bottled juice blends. For about 2 years, I grabbed a bottled green smoothie almost every morning from the refrigerated section. The label said things like kale, spinach, apple, ginger. It looked healthy. It felt like I was doing something good for my body. But here's the thing I didn't realize. Those bottled smoothies have been pasteurized, which means they've been heated to high temperatures to extend shelf life. That process degrades a significant amount of the vitamins and enzymes that made those ingredients valuable in the first place. What you're left with is essentially expensive sugar water with a green tint. And I mean expensive. Most of those bottles run $4 to $6 each. Some of the premium cold-pressed ones hit $10 or $12. For the cost of 5 bottles, you could buy a week's worth of actual fresh produce and blend it yourself. The fiber stays intact. The nutrients stay intact. You can add protein powder, flaxseed, whatever you want. And the difference in sugar content alone is significant. Many store-bought smoothies contain 35 to 50 grams of sugar per bottle because they're loaded with apple juice concentrate and banana puree to make them taste sweet. That's not a healthy drink. That's a dessert in a bottle with good marketing. Now, food number 4 is the one that genuinely frustrates me because the deception is so blatant. Veggie chips and plant-based snack foods. You see a bag that says veggie straws or veggie crisps, and your brain immediately thinks vegetables, healthy, good choice. That's exactly what the manufacturer wants. But most veggie chips have almost zero actual vegetable content. The primary ingredient in many of them is potato starch or potato flour. The veggie part usually comes from a tiny amount of vegetable powder, like spinach powder or tomato paste, that's added. In quantities so small, it provides essentially no nutritional value. I compared the nutrition label on a popular veggie, straw brand side by side with regular potato chips. Calories? Nearly identical. Fat content? About the same. Fiber? The veggie straws actually had less. Sodium? Pretty much even. The only real difference was the color of the chip and the word veggie on the bag. That single word is doing an enormous amount of heavy lifting. And the plant-based snack trend isn't much better. A lot. Of those products, swap out one processed ingredient for another processed ingredient. Slap a green leaf on the package, charge a premium, and call it health food. The takeaway here isn't that you can't snack. It's that if you want actual vegetables in your snack, eat actual vegetables. Carrots and hummus, celery with peanut butter, cucumber slices with everything bagel seasoning. These are real foods that cost less per serving and actually deliver the nutrition that veggie chips pretend to. All right, food number 5. I saved this one for last because it affects more people than probably anything else on this list. And it's something millions of families buy every week without a second thought. Multigrain and wheat bread. Now, before I get into this, I want to be clear. There is genuinely healthy bread out there. This isn't about demonizing bread. This is about exposing the labeling tricks that make nutritionally empty bread look like a premium health choice. Here's the phrase you need to watch for. Made with whole grains. Sounds good, right? It means nothing. Legally, a company can say, made with whole grains. Even if the product contains a tiny amount of whole grain flour mixed with a majority of refined, enriched white flour. It's technically true and practically meaningless. The word multigrain is even more deceptive. All it means is that the bread contains more than one type of grain. It says nothing about whether those grains are whole, refined, processed, or nutritionally valuable. You could make bread with 5 different types of refined flour and legally call it multigrain. And those dark, brown-colored wheat breads. Some manufacturers add caramel coloring to make white bread look darker and healthier. That rich brown color that makes you think it's packed with whole grains. It might literally be food dye. So how do you find bread that's actually worth eating? One rule. Look at the very first ingredient. If it says whole wheat flour or whole grain as the first ingredient, not the second, not the third, the first, then you've got a real whole grain product. If the first ingredient is enriched wheat flour or unbleached enriched flour, that's refined white flour with a healthy sounding name. Put it back. So here's the bigger picture. Why are these 5 foods, yogurt, granola, smoothies, veggie chips, and multigrain bread, allowed to be sold this way? It comes down to labeling regulations that haven't kept up with marketing innovation. Food companies spend billions of dollars every year on packaging design, health claims, and strategic word choices that are technically legal but functionally misleading. They know most people don't flip the package around. They know most people don't understand ingredient order. They know that words like natural, wholesome, real, and simple trigger trust responses in your brain, even when those words have no regulated meaning on a food label. The industry isn't broken by accident. It's working exactly as designed, just not in your favor. But here's the good news, and this is the part I really want you to take away from this video. You don't need a nutrition degree to protect yourself. You need one skill: learning to read a food label in 10 seconds. Here's the method I use. Step 1. Ignore the front of the package completely. Everything on the front is marketing. Flip it over. Step 2. Read the first 3 ingredients. Those make up the majority of what's inside. If you see sugar, corn syrup, enriched flour, or any oil in those top 3 spots, move on. Step 3. Check the sugar content per serving, then check the serving size. Companies shrink serving sizes to make sugar numbers look low. A bottle of juice might say 12 grams of sugar, but the serving size is half the bottle. Nobody drinks half a bottle. That's it. 3 steps. It takes 10 seconds once you practice it a few times, and it will fundamentally change the way you shop. You walked into this video trusting certain products, foods you've probably been buying for years, maybe decades, and now you know the truth about what's actually inside them. That's not a small thing. Most people never question the label. Most people never flip the package around. You just did. You're now shopping with your eyes open, and that puts you ahead of most consumers out there. If this video helped you rethink even one product in your grocery cart, do me a favor. Share it with someone you care about. A friend, a family member, someone who's trying to eat healthier but keeps getting misled by the packaging. They deserve to see this too. Drop a comment and tell me, which of these 5 surprised you the most? I'm genuinely curious. And if there's a healthy food you've been suspicious about that I didn't cover, let me know. Your suggestions shape future videos, and I read every single comment. Stay informed, stay skeptical, and I'll see you in the next one.